This is not Earth. It was my world. I was chosen to be the god of this world. But I might be obliterated. Because there are 27 other gods like me. So I need the approval of the creatures in that world. And generate belief. Only the more people who believe, I can win this election competition. Otherwise, the end that awaits me is only death. The man's name is Nebula. Is a top player called the Lost World. In the game, he develops technology. Defeated the second-ranked player in one fell swoop. Be the first player to complete all achievements. Just when he was lamenting that the game was boring, a mysterious email suddenly appeared on the screen. Congratulations on all your achievements. So the test suit is game over. The Lost World is now scheduled for official release. Player Nebula can enjoy the game before the official service. Do you want to enter the game? Look at the invitation in front of you. Nebula did not hesitate. Decisively clicked the OK button. But when he opened his eyes again, they found themselves in a ruined square. This puzzled him very much. Are you dreaming at the same time? A voice interrupted him. Then a mysterious woman appeared in front of him. He knows everything about the Nebula like the back of his hand. Looking at the worried Nebula, the mysterious man motioned him not to be nervous. Because he's not the only one here. As he slowly raised his hands, a blue planet floats in the sky. Is it the Earth? But soon the Nebula rejected his view. Because he had seen the scenery of that continent many times. The game Lost Continent. And the people present. Anyone can become a true god. The Lost World. It doesn't just exist in the game world. This land is because of a past event. Abandoned by the gods on that planet. Once brilliant text. Ming flourished and different races lived in harmony. Now it's time for them to welcome a new god. The purpose of the creation of the Lost Continent is to find the right candidate location for that planet. And it's essentially like the game. As long as you work hard to get the indigenous people to believe, you can become the only god on this planet. It's incredible to hear this, Nebula. If I choose to give up, you know who also has an explanation. If you give up now, you will return to your daily life. And you lose your memory of this place. Once you join the game, you cannot quit. And there are only two endings to the game. Disappear or become the god of that world. After explaining the rules, the mysterious man motioned that they had a quarter of an hour to test. Soon the number was 27. Nebula also guessed. They are invited by the maximum number of people in the game. Then the mysterious man took out a strange card. It's like a lost world. Select a small area to start your game. And Nebula is number 1 on the leaderboard. Be the first to choose a card. While getting the card, he is also teleported to the beginning of the game. But he was very depressed, unexpectedly, as the first person to draw a card. Luck will be so original. He got the insect patch with the lowest winning percentage. And it can only control things like insects. It's unfortunate, but also lucky. Because of this location, a remote eastern part of the continent. This means that there are very few wars here. Allow yourself enough time to develop. In this sense, it's an insect-eating competition. This would be a good starting point. Like the frogman. But it was the number of tribes that bothered him. It was hard to find as the first tribe. Because 500 frogmen is too many. And his belief value is only 10. Point. It has no effect on this group of frogmen who are full to eat and drink. So he has to find a new partner. Soon discovered some lizardmen. They are also insects, and can survive here without water. Upon closer inspection of the nebula, a badly wounded young lizardman attracts him. These are primitive tribes. Presumably he was ousted in a power struggle. The more he felt abandoned by the world, the more you want to change your destiny. In this desolate region, even water is scarce, let alone food. But just then, the lizardmen got very excited, because they found a wounded antelope. The young and strong lizard man rushed over for the first time. And the old, weak, and sick can only wait for him to finish all the meat. Finally, a small part of the bone. But some lizardmen think, you shouldn't give food to people who are dying. It turns out that they met the sword beast just before Clarkla for protecting the race. Seriously injured. The people of this tribe believe that he should not be abandoned. The screen changes. Come tonight. At this moment, the lizardmen have all rested. But just then, Clark was awakened by a sound. When he saw it clearly, he didn't expect it to be a butterfly. It struck him as very strange. It was as if something was calling out to him. Clara followed immediately. Take him to the top of the mountain. Found mountains of beetles here. He looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. Is this a miracle after receiving the gift of food? Nebula is also believed by the lizardmen, because these beetles are the hope to save them. And he's ready to take the next step. The lizardman tribe on the other side. It has been admitted that it is God's will, and called him the nameless beetle god. After obtaining so many resources for the tribe, Clara is in the family. Status has improved. Just then, he saw the butterfly's guidance again. But when others found out, when the direction to go is cold, but began to hesitate. And I'm going to ask Clark to try it the other way. But he thinks he should follow the butterfly's instructions, because there is nothing in this wilderness. Instead of searching aimlessly, it is better to choose to follow the guidance of the gods. And the nebula is watching silently from behind. They still lack faith, so he can't interfere with them either. If they believe me, they will experience a future they never imagined. Clark, follow the directions indicated. Soon discovered a desert oasis. He believed that the nameless beetle god had brought them to the Holy Land. At the same time, Nebula's divinity level has been raised. The small area bug level has also been increased to level 2. And receive the blessing of bug blessings. It empowers Clarkla. The screen changes. Come tonight. Upgraded Nebulae can enter their dreams. Nebula needs the help of Clara. Help him create his own image. Then a cow bone appeared on his body. This is what the nameless beetle god looks like. And the next day, he announced what he had dreamed about last night. They need to hunt a bison. Make it look like a beetle god. But the tribe doesn't seem to agree with his approach, because the buffalo herd is too dangerous for them. And Clark Ella agreed. So he decided to go alone. Hearing this, clansman's face was full of disbelief. He gestured not to worry, because he has received God's blessing. His injuries not only healed, strength is increased. Accompany him to throw the javelin. A tree dozens of meters away was pierced directly. Just then, a herd of bison passes under the mountain. After Clara, I knew it was the guidance of the gods. Then he rushed to the herd alone. Just one shot killed one. Seeing this, others stepped forward to help. Come tonight. Clarkla has used cow bones, made an image of a god, and offer sacrifices to them. Thank you to the nameless beetle god for the gift. Although this is a sloppy and clumsy ceremony, but they are all sincere from the heart. Because Nebula's faith deserves a big boost. And it was worth it. It was just before. Nebula uses weeds to guide the cattle down the mountain, in order to provide them with resources. What he didn't expect was, they even ate calves. At this stage, hard to expect, they acquire knowledge and skills related to herding. The population of this oasis is not very supportive. A few years at most. In its current state, they know nothing about agriculture or ranching. This can be a difficult time to get through. To gain knowledge on their own. It's still too hard for them. Because there are rules. You can't just tell him. Soon Nebula figured out a way. But it takes a long time. The screen changes. A few days later. Clara had a strange dream that night. He saw the altar shaking. It's like telling them that something big is going to happen. As he climbed the altar. Discover. A powerful tribe came towards them in the distance.